Hey guys, Omni here. During the quarantine, I finally decided to go back and finish the Hannibal TV series. I had started it a pretty long time ago, but I didn't actually finish the first season. And, after talking with Greg over at The Real Rejects about it, who had just discovered the show for the first time, it really got me interested into going back and finishing it since I actually had the time now. And I did. I finished it last night, and, I gotta say, it was wild. Even back when I originally watched the first season, I was like, how the hell did this get away with any of this stuff on cable TV? I have no idea. It is insanely dark, horribly graphic, and it's just so anatomically just gruesome. I love it. And I'm a fan of the films and the books as well. I really enjoyed the Hannibal character, and most specifically, I did enjoy Red Dragon. This series follows Will Graham, who in the films was played by Edward Norton. Here we have him played by Hugh Dancy, and he does a fantastic job. And, with such an iconic role that Anthony Hopkins delivered in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon, all of them, it was such a huge step to take to approach that character, I feel like, especially in the Sphere, with just the notable performance that Anthony Hopkins did. But in the series, he's played by Mads Mikkelsen, who's been getting a lot of love here lately, and I'm sure this is probably one of Hideo Kojima's favorite shows. But he does a phenomenal job in this. They're so different, and I think, but I feel like they both embody this character in completely different ways. It's terrifyingly real and gripping, and the relationship that we discover and build and grow between him and Will Graham throughout this, because this show takes place before the events of Red Dragon. So this is all new territory. This is stuff that had not been really fleshed out in the books whatsoever. We knew that they kind of had a pre-existing relationship, but they really built on that in this. And they don't even get to the Red Dragon storyline until the final season, season 3. And that was only really the final season because it got canceled, and they had been planning to move past that. But of course, it got cut short. Now, there's been some talks over the years about them revisiting the show. They've been trying to get the rights, licensing rights to Silence of the Lambs to proceed forward and see where it goes from there. But my God, even though you know the books, even though you know the films and how they progress, they do so much in this show that it really takes its own course. It really builds these own versions of these characters completely separate. So I was still on the edge of my seat every step of the way. There were so many, they definitely switched up the dynamics, the relationships, the paths these character stories take, and it kept it so interesting. So, like, if you've watched the films, if you've watched Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon, Hannibal Rising, you're not going to go into this having to worry about, oh, well, when's that one thing going to happen? Because they do whatever they want. They let this story grow and evolve with these versions of these characters, and it worked. It was really gripping. It was thrilling. It was epic. It was really well thought out, well paced. The psychology that they build out in this really is felt, especially between our leads. And there's a lot of supporting characters in this as well. Jack Crawford, played by Lawrence Fishburne, is in a key character in this, and he does a fantastic job. Then you have Carolyn DeVerna, who plays Dr. Alana Bloom, who has a key role in this as well. All of these characters have such wonderful chemistries with each other, and none more so than our leads, though, man. Like, they take it to a whole other level. They are hypnotic in their performances, and there's an art to this show. Like, we have all of these murders, these crimes that they investigate along the way. All of the practical effects, even in this show, are some of the best that I've seen. There's so much visual and metaphorical imagery in this show as well that is hypnotic. There's a lot of really artistic ways they do so many of the shots, so much of the blocking, the staging, the sequences and transitions between reality and what's in our characters' minds and where they're coming in and out of each other's mental states. There's a lot of interesting things they do in this. Sometimes they incorporate some CGI here and there, and it's a little hokey. Some of the murders in some of the episodes are really over the top as far as the way they're executed or the manner in which the killer does things, but it's still entertaining. And this is all prior to Hannibal being captured, because when we first meet him in the films, he's already been caught. This is before that time, so there's always a lingering sense of something going on in the background, these threads, these puppet strings throughout the entire series, and it's always keeping you tense. At least for me. This is my personal perspective on the show. I freaking love it to death. It even gets extra bonus points because of recurring characters played by Gillian Anderson from The X-Files. And honestly, since this was filmed, I'm pretty sure this was filmed before the season 10 revival season that came out for The X-Files, or at least it was between them or around them when they came out, because, you know, when she revisited The X-Files to pick back up for those revival miniseries, there was a lot of similarities between that older version of Scully and this character that she plays in this show, where she's actually Hannibal Lecter's psychiatrist. The psychiatrist has his own. And I thought they had an extremely interesting dynamic, and the way she weaves in and out of the plot is also really intriguing. And they play around with a couple things. There's a couple of sequences that happen that vary throughout the show. There's some homages to different bits of different movies. There's a lot of stuff in there if you know or have read or watched Hannibal Rising that they put in there as far as Hannibal's background. There's some fun stuff in this show. If you have not watched it, I highly recommend it. If you have a squeamish stomach whatsoever, you might have some problems. There's a lot. There's a lot of things that might make you squirm. It pushes so many lines. Like I said, I have no idea how this aired on cable television. I don't, but my God, I want it to come back. I would love to see these people come back. They've all, at least our leads, Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen, have both expressed interest in returning and reprising the roles. It's just right now, I think Amazon has the exclusive streaming rights for the series now that it's concluded. So they're just trying to work on getting licensing. The creator of this show has been trying to get these licensings and trying to appeal and pitch and see if anybody wants to pick it up for a fourth season. And yeah, so there's any way that this could go. Honestly, the way they wrap it up, it is so different from how it all happens in the books that they could take it a brand new direction. They wouldn't even have to do Silence of the Lambs, honestly. They could do something completely different from there, though the given expectation would be for them to dive into Silence of the Lambs next and introduce Clarice Starling. Who knows? I don't know. I love the show. If you like murder, if you like psychology, if you like serial killers, if you like any of that crazy stuff, if you love Mads Mikkelsen, check this thing out. He's fantastic. Everybody in this show wins. I love it. Visually appealing, well acted, well scripted, beautiful. This show deserves to come back. That's my thoughts. If you've seen it, I want to know what you guys think. If you check it out due to my recommendation, let me know what you think. I've got reactions to all the episodes on my Stardust as well, though sometimes I'm pretty much just dumbfounded by the episode, so my actual commentary in those 30 seconds is sometimes mindless, so forgive me for that. But here's my thoughts on the show. It is a must-watch, in my opinion, and I highly recommend it. So check that out. If you do, let me know. I wanted to talk to you guys about it after the video. Thank you all for tuning in. That's been my 2 cents for this. This is one of the shows that I've been watching. What have you been watching here during the quarantine? What shows have you revisited? What shows have you started that you hadn't before? Any movies that you're only checking out now that you just hadn't had the time to get into? Let me know all that too. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions, what you're into, what you're checking out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.